We are going to get started now with Justin Smith, who is the Director of IT at SunCommon. And as you can see here in his amazing Trailblazer profile, someone who has a very clear love of learning with 400 plus Trailhead badges, 13 certifications, tons of participation in the Trailblazer community, and a really cool, very recent story to tell. So let's say hello to Justin. Justin, thank you so much for joining us. And as we always do, we're going to start out with you telling us a little bit about your Trailblazer journey.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. So I started my undergraduate career in international business, actually, and started in accounting, and then found my way over to IT at some point. Um, I found Salesforce. Was working at a small startup company. They hired a VP of sales who had used Salesforce before. He basically came in and said, you know, we're getting rid of our homegrown CRM, and we're going to put in Salesforce, and IT is going to figure out how to make that work. We took that small project for sales and had the platform running like in every part of the company. It was the main system of record for every single department there. And I've continued that journey. That was 10 years ago or so, and continued through all the different clouds, community, service cloud, you name it. Tried to pull different pieces.
Awesome. Um, Tell us two things. What was it about Salesforce that made you decide that you really wanted to dive in? And how have both Trailhead and the Trailblazer community been a part of your journey?
Salesforce. So why it was Salesforce? One, it's really easy to get drawn into Salesforce and figure out how to do things. It's really quick to provide solutions to things. So when you have problems and issues to do, you know, because it's so easy with Salesforce, it becomes kind of you know um, just crawls into those different pieces where it's easy to solve that with that. The Trailblazer community. So I got involved with that. So I'm in Vermont. It's a pretty small area up here. I got into it first just to learn, and then to find other people locally that I would be able to connect to. So started a user group here in Vermont. Found some people that you could just talk about experiences. And really in the Trailblazer community, I just like to um, you know, learn new things and try to help solve other problems that people are having.
Yeah, we talked a good bit as we were preparing about the fact that you loved solving questions for a couple of reasons, right? Obviously, helping people has its rewards, but also, the fact that you had to learn as you went. Can you expand on that just a little bit?
Yeah. You know, learning, being in the Salesforce ecosystem for so long, you get a base foundation of things. So you know where to start from that. But when you look at somebody's question of something you've never actually done before, it's actually can also be a challenge. So in some ways, it's fun to help people and solve that solution, but it's also, a way to learn yourself. I take it as a way to go, I've never done that piece before. Let me go see if I can solve that myself, and then be able to, you know, help this person.
Okay. And you had just such an opportunity a few weeks ago when your phone rang and a colleague had a question. A colleague had a question about something that he was doing to try to help a local organization. It's a story that we've fallen in love with because of how quickly you put your skills to work. So why don't you tell us that story?
Yeah, so there was a group of nonprofits came together to form what was called like a regional command center. So basically, they had a lot of people during this time. A lot of people want to help, but also a lot of people need help. And so they were looking for a way to kind of bring those resources together. There's a bunch of nonprofits, a bunch of volunteers, you know, disparate systems, things like that. So they were bringing up this totally new, nonprofit together. One thing they have is a call center. So they wanted to have volunteers staff a call center to be able to take in requests, and people that need help and connect them to volunteers. So I was able to get, a colleague called me. This was probably like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. By 1 p.m., we had spun up Salesforce Cares org. So originally, when he called me, they said, hey, we need these volunteers to um, capture this information? Could we use Google Forms to do this? How hard would it be maybe to spin up Salesforce? And it said, you know, this is exactly kind of what Salesforce is for. Like we could spin this up, be able to scale kind of almost infinitely, really fast, and almost faster than we could do with Google Forms too. Especially because we found the CARES org. So this was a Tuesday, and then by Friday they were training volunteers to work on the platform. So in an incredibly short amount of time, we had created an entire org with Service Console, with messaging, with Amazon Connect as a call center. They were originally going to forward phone calls to volunteers to their house, and somebody was going to switch every 4 hours to switch to a different volunteer, which just seemed insane. Um, so instead, we fire up Amazon Connect. There it is.
That's so cool, and helped so many people, I'm sure, just trying to do the math on the sort of multiplier effects of you taking your time to do that and applying that expertise, some of which you had recently learned on Trailhead, um, which is it's really cool and such a great example of how you can use your skills beyond just your day job to help others. So we love it and we appreciate it. So, as a long term, longish term, I should say, trailblazer and leader in the trailblazer community, I'm sure that many people would be interested in your advice on, what others should do in order to become that sort of uh, awesome community contributor and platform expert. What advice do you have for everybody?
Yeah, so for me, what works the most for me, and not necessarily to say it works the best for everyone, is that I really like to be hands-on with things. I learn the best by trying and doing. So things like this project where I could learn Amazon Connect, which was a totally new experience for me, but I had that project to go out there and teach that information and learn it. Um, so one of the best advice I have is get a developer, or it's free forever. It has almost every feature that you would want to play with, and then find something. Everyone has something in their lives or their current careers that could be improved by technology or just tracked, or and just throw things together. And then from there, you can build on the different pieces and the different technologies to enhance it.
Super cool. Thank you, Justin, for everything that you've done within the community and how you innovate on the platform and how you took this amazing skill set that you have to work to help this organization and for sharing your expertise with us today.